Hello, leaders. Hey, this is Paul Grau, and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges, the daily show that equips leaders and their teams to achieve their greatest potential. This show is sponsored by the CLC team, and they provide leadership coaching, training and development, leadership mastermind groups, and a brand new online membership community for leaders who want to continually grow and succeed in every area of their lives. And by the way, all of the CLC team coaches are fully John C. Maxwell team certified. Find out more about the CLC team at clcteam.com. Hey, hope you're doing great today. And today, we are kicking off a brand new month. And for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about a couple of different topics that some of you have brought up to my attention. One of the most common topics that I get questions on is values, especially over the last several months. And one thing that I've discovered is that many people really just don't clearly know what their values are and or understand what the impact that values have on them. So today's challenge is going to be a little different because I want you to actually follow my lead here and write out your personal values based on what we talk about. This challenge will enable you to clearly know and understand your values. It'll also give you a leadership skill that very few leaders know. It'll also give you a leadership skill that very few leaders have. And that is not only understanding your values, but understanding your team members' personal values as well. And that's going to take your leadership up several notches. Now, before we get started, I want to say that all of us kind of know our values to a certain degree, but many times we just can't put them into words if somebody asks us about them, and or we just aren't living them out. And if we're not living out our values, man, this can cause us to be in a not so good mood all of the time. Now, like I said earlier, I came up with this topic because a few listeners asked me about values and because a friend of mine told me that we just didn't have the same values. But as we dove into them and started really breaking them down, we realized that we had more values that were the same than that were different. And now our friendship is much stronger. So, one of the first things that you can do in figuring out what your values are is to start brainstorming all the things that really drive you or excite you, or where your passion comes from, and or maybe where your passion is directed towards. So just start writing things out that you do on a daily basis. And that's a key because keep in mind that a value is how you want to act or be in any given situation. And it's how you behave or want to behave on a daily basis. And it must be something that you can do and or are doing. For example, if you say honesty is a value of yours, well, you may write down something like, be honest with others always. Or maybe something like, be honest to myself and others all the time. Now, another example is if you say God is one of your values. How can you do, act, or be godly in every given situation? You may say something like this: treat everyone with dignity and respect. Or I will show love to everyone. Or something like that. But God by itself is a value, but you have to be able to do it and be it and act it out. So what does that look like when you live out that value? Okay, I hope all this makes sense. And now it's your turn. Start brainstorming all the ways that you want to act or be and do on a daily, ongoing basis. And as you think about these things to put on your paper, keep in mind to think about what really drives you and gives you your most passion. What gives you that inner peace and joy? What can't you live without? Another good thing to think about is what are your behavioral patterns day in and day out? So, you have all that? If so, get to work because this challenge is going to stretch you a little bit. But believe me, it'll all be worth the effort and the time that you put into it because ultimately, knowing your values and having them written out is going to open your eyes wider than they've ever been. You're going to see clearer than ever. Now, we're going to pick up right there tomorrow. So try to spend a few minutes today really thinking about what you put on the list and be prepared for the next step tomorrow. Hey, by the way, thanks for listening. We really appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and please join us tomorrow as we continue this challenge. Until then, run to your challenges.